Saudi Arabia is one of the most influential countries in the Middle East, with massive oil reserves that have transformed it into a global economic power. But how did it become this way? This is the history of Saudi Arabia. Before we get into the history of Saudi Arabia, there are some basics you need to know. The official name of the country is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's located in the Arabian Peninsula and shares borders with Jordan, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Oman, and Yemen. Its total area is 149,690 square kilometers, making it the 12th largest country in the world. As of February 2023, the population of Saudi Arabia is 36,072,000 people, making it the 18th most populated country in the world. And the capital city of Saudi Arabia is Riyadh. The religion of the majority of the population is Islam, with Arabic being the official language. And the current monarch and head of state is King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, who has been in power since 2015. But it was always like this. So let us go back in time and find out how Saudi Arabia became the country it is today. Ancient times? The earliest inhabitants of the Arabian Peninsula were nomadic people who migrated through the region in search of food and water. These tribes spoke various languages and followed different religions, but they all shared a common culture based on their nomadic lifestyle. One of these tribes was the Joram tribe. They lived in Central Arabia during the pre-Islamic period and played a significant role in the history of the region. According to Islamic tradition, they were descendants of Jirho, a great-grandson of Ishmael, son of Prophet Abraham, and his wife Hagar. The exact origins of the Joram are not known, but they likely emerged as a distinct group between the 4th and 7th centuries AD. They inhabited an area encompassing parts of modern-day Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Iraq. Initially, the Joram were centered around the city of Al-Ula, or Hegra, which served as the capital of the Kingdom of Najd. However, they later shifted their focus to the Central Arabian city of Darija, near present-day Riyadh. Despite lacking a centralized government, the Joram were recognized for their expertise in animal husbandry and their ability to adapt to the harsh environment of the Arabian Peninsula. They also developed a unique form of poetry and music that celebrated their nomadic way of life and their connection to the land. Rise of Islam. In the 7th century, the Joram were part of the larger Arabian Peninsula when the Prophet Muhammad founded the religion of Islam. Muhammad's teachings challenged the polytheistic beliefs of the time, and he gained followers from various tribes, including the Joram. After facing persecution in Mecca, Muhammad and his followers migrated to Medina in 622 AD, marking the beginning of the Islamic calendar. The Muslim community gradually grew in strength, and by the 8th century, Islam had become the dominant religion in the Arabian Peninsula. The emergence of Islam led to significant transformations in the region, including the establishment of new trade routes and cities. The Muslim conquests extended beyond the Arabian Peninsula, reaching North Africa, the Middle East, and Central Asia. During this period, the Joram continued to thrive as nomadic pastoralists, adapting to the changing political and economic landscape. The Ottoman Empire and Wahhabism. As the centuries passed, the Arabian Peninsula came under the influence of various external powers. The Ottoman Empire expanded its control to include parts of the region, and the Joram found themselves subject to Ottoman rule. However, in the 18th century, a religious movement known as Wahhabism emerged in the Arabian Peninsula, founded by Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab. This reform movement aimed to purify Islam and reject what it perceived as idolatry and other forms of religious innovation. Wahhabism gained support among various Arabian tribes, including the Saud family, who were initially nomadic, but had established a small state in the central region of Arabia. Through a combination of military force and religious appeal, the Sauds formed alliances with other tribes and expanded their influence. By the early 19th century, they had established control over much of Central Arabia and the Hejaz, the region that encompasses Mecca and Medina. This marked the beginning of the first Saudi state. However, external threats loomed, particularly from the expanding Ottoman Empire. Tensions escalated, leading to conflicts between the Sauds and the Ottomans. In 1811, the Ottomans launched an offensive against the Saudi state aiming to suppress Wahhabism and reassert their authority. Despite fierce resistance, the Sauds faced military setbacks and their state was eventually dissolved. Many members of the Saudi royal family, including Turki bin Abdullah, sought refuge in neighboring Kuwait. Undeterred, Turki regrouped with supporters in Kuwait and began planning a comeback. Seizing on internal conflicts within the Ottoman Empire, he rallied tribes in Central Arabia, amassing a force of approximately 3,000. In 1824, they launched a campaign to recapture Riyadh. Facing limited opposition, the Sauds successfully returned to the capital, marking the restoration of the Saudi state, British influence, and unification. During the late 19th century, the British Empire recognized the strategic importance of the Arabian Peninsula, particularly in relation to their control of the sea routes to India. They sought to establish influence in the region and negotiated agreements with various local rulers, including the Sauds. In 1913, the British and Saudi leaders formalized their relationship with the Treaty of Dhahran, establishing a relationship that would shape the region's political dynamics for decades. The Sauds, under the leadership of Abdulaziz bin Saud, continued to expand their territory, engaging in conflicts with neighboring sheikhs and tribes. With British support, they were able to gain the upper hand and gradually unify the Arabian Peninsula under their rule. By 1932, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was officially proclaimed with Riyadh as its capital. Oil discovery and modernization. In 1938, the world's first significant oil discovery in Saudi Arabia marked a turning point in the country's history. The vast oil reserves transformed Saudi Arabia into a major player on the global stage and provided the resources for rapid modernization and development. The discovery led to the establishment of Saudi Aramco, the state-owned oil company responsible for managing the country's petroleum resources. With the revenue generated from oil, Saudi Arabia underwent significant transformations in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and various other sectors. The government invested heavily in public services and development projects, aiming to improve the quality of life for its citizens. In the mid-20th century, Saudi Arabia's strategic location and geopolitical interests led to its involvement in regional and international affairs. It played a crucial role in the formation of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, in 1960, which aimed to coordinate and unify the petroleum policies of its member countries. Saudi Arabia's influence on global oil markets has had significant economic and political ramifications. As Saudi Arabia progressed in the latter half of the 20th century, it continued to face challenges and opportunities. The Iranian Islamic Revolution of 1979 and the subsequent Iran-Iraq War had profound implications for the region, shaping Saudi Arabia's foreign policy and security concerns. Saudi Arabia also experienced internal social and economic changes as it grappled with issues related to modernization, religious conservatism, and the role of women in society. Despite these challenges, Saudi Arabia has remained a key player on the global stage, actively participating in international organizations and diplomatic efforts. Contemporary Saudi Arabia. Today, Saudi Arabia stands as a prominent country with global reach. Its vast oil reserves have made it a major player in the global economy, wielding significant influence over energy markets. The kingdom's strong ties with the United States and other Western powers have positioned it as a strategic partner in the region. However, Saudi Arabia also faces contemporary challenges such as calls for democracy and human rights reforms, regional conflicts like the ongoing war in Yemen, and the threat posed by extremist groups such as Al-Qaeda and ISIS. The kingdom's strict interpretation of Islamic law and its handling of dissent drawn international scrutiny and criticism. Additionally, Saudi Arabia has faced economic challenges due to fluctuations in oil prices and the global shift towards renewable energy sources. Despite these challenges, the country continues to play a pivotal role in international affairs, participating in diplomatic efforts and mediating conflicts in the Middle East and beyond. We hope that you enjoyed this video about the history of Saudi Arabia. If so, please leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to learn more about other countries.